Hello and welcome to digitany.com, your first and hopefully only source for everything tech related. My name is Stefan and today we'll be taking a look at the LG L Fino, or previously known as the LG G2 Mini. Now the LG L Fino is a starter Android handset costing only 180 euros. For that price we do get a really solid phone. We have 4 GB of internal storage which is expandable by 32 GB. And 1 GB of RAM. We do have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor, which is a quad-core SoC with 1.2 GHz and an Adreno 305 GPU. We are running Android 4.4.2 KitKat, which is really very new, of course with LG CY version 3.0 above, which you already saw on the LG G3. Now the display is 4.5 inches big and has a resolution of 480 per 800 pixels, which gives you a PPI of around 207. That's not really that much, but for the price it's really not a big issue here. So the dimensions are 127.5 millimeters in height, 67.9 millimeters in width, and 11.9 millimeters in thickness, and that is really a lot. And the phone weighs 145 grams, which really comes expected here. Now we have 2G and 3G. Now there's no 4G on board. If you really do need 4G for whatever reasons you have, you should be buying the Samsung Galaxy S4, which only costs around 20 euros more and offers a really similar package to that one here. So now let's take a look at the back side. We have one mono speaker on the back. You can expect the quality not to be really that good, and it isn't. The sound is reverberating a lot, and yeah, the speaker is not the worst there is. You will be able to use it, but it's really not that great. We have an 8 megapixel back camera with a single LED, and the back buttons, which aren't really such a good idea, but we'll come to that later. And the back cover is replaceable, and you can take out the battery as well, and that is where you will be able to put in your micro SD card and your micro SIM as well. Okay, so let's talk about the display a little bit here. Okay, the saturation of the display is very good, contrasts are really awesome, the blacks are really deep. So deep that it's really... Yeah, the blacks are really awesome on the phone. It's really great for an IPS display, and we do see the technology advancing further and further. Now, unfortunately, the white tones aren't really the strongest side of the phone. The whites are rather gray, and while color reproduction is really good and accurate, we do see a grayish tone persisting, unfortunately, really everywhere. But you won't really notice it that much. Please note that we are professional reviewers and have to notice every little detail, and it shouldn't be an issue if you have the phone for yourself. Now let's come to the network connectivity. 2G and 3G reception is really great here. We don't have it on video because our SIM card is somewhere else at the moment. But rest assured, it's really a good connectivity and as good as on other flagship phones out there. Now if you switch to 2G, 3G auto mode, you will be stranded with 2G most of the time, so you should really switch to 3G only, because if you know that you have 3G, it's really faster because the switching isn't really working that great, but that problem is existing on more than one device out there, and I have it too on my other phones. So just one thing worth noting. We have a front camera, of course, but we do not have a brightness sensor, meaning you will have to adjust the brightness yourself. There is no auto brightness available on the phone, but that's not really such a big problem. So let's take a look at the performance now. Performance is very good, fluent, there is no stuttering, no lags, you can open up menus everywhere and everything is really fine. Yeah, we have a phone for almost 2 weeks now, and we noticed perhaps one nano super split second stutter and hiccup only twice. So it's really stable and you won't notice it in daily usage, I can guarantee you that. Now playing games. You can play normal games. We tested Temple Run and Flappy Bird. It's working awesome. You of course shouldn't try playing Modern Combat 5. No, we haven't tried it, but the phone has been designed to do that. So if you want to play high-end games, please buy a high-end phone. That is the moral of the story here. We will take a look at the camera later on, not in the video however, because we're not quite finished with camera tests yet. We're still taking samples and reviewing them. What we know so far is that the camera is, it's not the best and it's not the worst. But we really can't say anything more right now. So, how are phone calls on the phone? Very good. While I was calling with a few people out there, they were understanding me really, really great, and I was understanding them very crisp, loud, and clear. So you won't have any problems with that. If you want a phone for calling, you won't be doing anything wrong here. And how is the battery life? Well, the battery is only 1900 milliamperes big, so it's not really that big. You will be able to do a solid day of normal usage, I'd say. Not 2 days probably, and the battery life is rather average here. So now, have I forgotten something very important? Have I noted that the display does have Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on the top? If not, please note that. It's very important and helps you keep your display safe from scratches, keys, and whatever you might try to throw at your display. And let's now come to the few things which we really do not like about the phone. Now, for starters, it's a shrinked LG G3, or at least it looks that way. And if you shrink a phone, there are things you can do right, and there are things which you can do horribly wrong. Now, some things are horribly wrong here. Networks. It's not fitting on the screen. If you scroll down here, you see only 1 point more. And the entire settings UI, it's really rather looking like being made for a bigger display, not for the size of this. But you can solve every problem and that as well. So we just switch to list view and the problem is gone. Very easy solve. And there's another pain in, I won't say that evil word now. The back keys. The primary idea behind back keys is the following. You do hold your phone like that, and your finger should be resting on the back key. Now, while that might be true for a phone of the size of the LG G3 or LG G2, that is true. We tested it, it's really true. I don't know why it turned on, sorry. But if you shrink a phone down, back keys aren't really that necessary. Let me demonstrate it here. I'm holding the phone like this, and my finger is nowhere near the buttons. To turn on or off a display, I need to make a sort of power yoga move and press the button, and it's really sometimes even painful to do that maneuver. You do have, of course, double tap to wake, which interestingly isn't always working. It's working most of the times, but not always. Probably a software glitch, or I don't really know. That's just worth noting, I'd say. Rest is really working fine here. Wi-Fi reception is great and awesome too. It's equally as good as flagship phones out there. We tested it with the OnePlus One, and yeah, you can be sure Wi-Fi reception is really, really great and solid, and the speeds are great as well. And as I think that's been everything. Oh wait, one thing I forgot, you do get an FM radio, which is really awesome in those days, because most of the phones out there do not have it anymore. So now let's come to the final conclusion. Should you buy the LG L Fino, and if so, why? Well, if you're looking for a cheap Android phone with new software, solid performance, little games, and a camera that you will be able to make a photo, not really DSLR quality, but you will be able to make one, the LG L Fino is for you. In that price class, it's a really, really awesome and solid device, and you can do nothing wrong if you invest your 180 euros in here. It's really, really great. Now there are some minus points here, as the back keys are, but in general, you can't do anything wrong here. So stay tuned to see some more, request something in the comments if you'd like, and see you later. Goodbye.